More medications, less health. Something's broken. Traditional medicine manages symptoms, but true healing addresses root cause. I'm Josh Rimini, pharmacist turned healer. At Beyond the Pills, we merge ancient wisdom with modern day science to inspire you through stories of transformation, practical trainings, and holistic healing. Join me and other practitioners as we guide you towards vibrant health, body, mind, and spirit, and move beyond symptom management into true healing. Welcome back to this episode of Beyond the Pills. Today, we are diving into one of the most overlooked, misunderstood, and deeply sacred foundations of human health, water.
Yes, sir.
I've been looking forward to this episode, not because it's just hydration, but because living, structured, sacred water is so important these days. Our guest, Mikaal Schmitz, has spent over 21 years in the holistic health and wellness, but his mission became personal 11 years ago when his mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. Her passing on May of 25 became the moment that transformed his purpose. That pain became a calling, leading him to 8 years of deep research into water, energy, cellular vitality, and what truly supports long-term wellness. Today, Mikaal is the founder of Sacred Alkaline Water, a movement dedicated to bringing clean, living, high-frequency water into homes across the world. Every system he installs is a tribute to his mother's legacy, a reminder that living water for living beings isn't just a slogan, it's a mission born from love, healing, and purpose. Welcome to the show, Mikaal.
What's up, Josh? Thanks for having me, brother.
Oh, man. When I met you, I was like, you have been the guy I've been looking for. You know it, too. We're in the same circles now. But, I was literally, and this is how it happens, right? This is how it happens now. I was like, you're aligned. This is how it happens. I was like, I need to figure out a way to get structured water in my house and in my business. I've been going down the mini rabbit hole of water, and then you freaking pop into my sphere of reality.
Hey, it's just how it happens, man. And I'm blessed to have met you. We have so many things in common and just so many of the same missions and visions and goals for people and their health. So very, very pumped to be here. Thanks for having me, brother.
Yeah, and I had this idea. I was like, let me go through deep dives on the elements. Like water is so much more. Like we've evolved, humanity's evolved, and now we're in the Beyond the Pills talk here. But I'm into biohacking. I'm into everything healthy, looking at hydrogen water, ozonated water, sacred water, structured water. It's beyond alkaline. So I want to start off with your journey in water. And it started long before you created this business, right?
Yeah.
Take us back. What was that moment you realized water was more than hydration and that it was medicine? It had memory and meaning. I want to know your story. Where was this aha?
Wow. That's a beautiful question. So obviously we talked a little bit about it. My mom's battled with breast cancer 11 years ago, stage 3C breast cancer, double mastectomy, 12 different surgeries, pretty much a really rough 5 years for her and the family. And through that process and journey, I really started to kind of go down the rabbit hole of maybe it's the water, right? And I did a lot of research, started to look into things. And I'll be honest, I mean, I've been in holistic health and wellness a long time, but taking it super seriously right around when my mom got cancer the first time 11 years ago. And then 8 years ago, did an even deeper dive. So I started to research water, bottled water, different filters, tap water, what's really going on. And I uncovered a lot of stuff that most people don't know of what's actually going on in water. So God in the universe had thrown all these different water companies at me as well. After 3 years of research on water, I was working for different beverage companies back then. I worked for, a coconut water company, a very big kombucha company. And during that process, I made a really good reputation for myself. But all of a sudden, all these water companies started to reach out to me. There were bottled water, canned water, biodegradable water bottle company that actually failed to launch. And then I bought a tabletop ionizer machine, which was like $6,000. And I thought it was the greatest thing until I started to really do research on the filtering process of those machines because they're not filters. So I got obsessed. At this point, I was obsessed. I bought that machine, completely obsessed. This was about 7.5 years ago. And through doing all the research, I wanted to find a company that I could work with, sell their product, get behind. And just like you, until you found me, it didn't exist. So come full circle, I start researching different water filtration companies for whole home systems, for under sink systems. And I actually contacted 10 different companies before I found one that would give me a chance and build it the way that I wanted to build it. All the other people looked at me like I had 3 heads because they were like, it's not broken. Why are you trying to fix it? What are you trying to do to our industry? Because they've been doing the same thing for 35, 40 years. And I knew water had to be a specific thing. No one would do it except that one company. And I still work with them as my supplier to this day.
I love it. It's the word evolve came in out of that, right?
Oh,
We're in a new age here. And I think what don't fix what's not broken is sort of a way of saying like we're not evolving. We know so much more. Like you could go down, I've gone down, like I said, the mini rabbit hole. And I was telling you, because I was like, you got to come talk to me because I love this stuff, but I barely scratch the surface. Like I read a lot, but I haven't gone down this big hole about water because water carries memory. It carries frequency. It carries information. It's every part of, we know it's the lifeblood of us. We're mostly water, but that water isn't stagnant. That water is doing something all the time. And the way and manner in which we put it into our bodies is also that. So tell us a little bit when you were giving your little, what your little journey was there. I felt like there needs to be like a documentary on this. Like I went through this thing and all these people in the water industry were doing this thing. And I came out and understood this. So let's get down to this part. What did you see when you were doing this? Because when you most people are like, oh, they're buying bottled water, which we got to get into, but like we assume that the water we're drinking, just because it has no bacteria in it, like it's safe and it's clean and it's good for us. But what did you see? You went down the professional route, not like, what did you see? What did you see? What did you come from out of this?
Where do I start, brother?
You don't have to name out people, but I want you to know because we talked earlier pre-podcast and like, I just want people to know like what is going on with the water.
Yeah, I'll get down to a couple different things. So one of the things I unraveled when talking to all those companies is that 99% of water filtration companies in the entire US, from all the research I've done, are all doing the exact same thing. They are filtering out just chlorine and maybe a couple of other chemicals, and they soften the water. That's not going to do anything for your health. Yes, it'll help protect pipes, plumbing, some appliances for a short period of time. But the medias that you use, the carbons, I have special lava rock. We've got all kinds of different layers of media in our system to filter out the water properly to actually get it pure. Okay. And where a lot of these companies fall short, unfortunately, is that they're doing it the cheapest way possible to make the largest profit. I don't care what it costs. I don't care if my MSRP has to be X amount because we're spending X amount to make a superior system. I wanted to build a system that was like that on freaking steroids. And that's what I've produced. So that was like whole home systems.
Well, what do I slow down though? Because I get that. But what is in the water then? Like, what are we drinking? I want people to know. Like, for me, the pharmacist perspective is, we take back all unused medications. I spend a ton of money incinerating it to EPA standards so it doesn't get back into the watershed. It doesn't get back into the ground because I don't need all of these drugs, which are toxins, they help the right people in the right situations, but they get back in the what. So I know some stuff, but like, what are we drinking if it's
What's
just
in the
filtered water?
I got you. Okay. So a lot of the tap water in the US has anywhere from 10 to different 30 contaminants and chemicals in the water, in the actual municipal water. And there's about 130 plus chemicals that could be in the water. So that's basically kind of the standard of what's actually going on in the municipal. Now, this is everything from arsenic to lead to fluoride to pharmaceuticals, hexavalent chromium from the Aaron Brockovich story. There's still no legal limit on how much of that can be in our water. But through the research I do, it's almost in every single municipal across the nation. It's wild what's going on with the chemicals. And it's not so much the infrastructure of the municipals themselves, because, gotta have to be careful what you say about this, but they follow legal standards, legal laws.
Well, it's the EPA says this is what you need to do, and they say yes. Like there's standards, but I think people are smarter that listen to this episodes, these things around their health and wellness, where we're looking to optimize our health. We're not looking to say, all right, the government says it's safe to have X amount of arsenic, organic or inorganic, in our water. It's like, no, I want to know how I can purify and clean this out. I want to get to your process for sure, because it is so unique. And it was something like literally I couldn't find it. I'm drinking coffee and I had to find the guy who could infuse functional mushrooms in whole bean coffee. And now I have it because I love drinking whole bean coffee, but I love my functional mushrooms. So it's like, I found the guy what I liked, but like for you, it's like, there's so much chemicals that for a functional perspective, we want to take out the bad signals and put really good ones in, like the good stuff, right? So we're drinking water assuming it's good, but it can be all these things. So did you sample different waters, or were you just kind of like looking at what's in there and how can I get it out? Like what was your process in this of getting it to the pure state?
Man, it was a long process, but I'll shorten it. So I was in San Diego at the time. I'm from DC, Maryland originally, but I lived in San Diego for 15 years next to Camp Pendleton. And when I built the business, California water is one of the worst in the nation. And then I live in Florida now. Florida and Texas go back and forth for first and second worst water in the entire nation as well. So I've been in states that have some of the worst water. And through the testing, different lab testing, checking things out, I would use, there's a website. Anyone can use it actually. It's called ewg.org/tap water. You can put in your zip code and find out every chemical that's in your water and what levels it's at and what the recommended would be for health standards, right? So through that research, I was like, okay, what do I need to filter out X? What do I need to filter out Y? What do I need to filter out Z? And I went and found the medias through my research, talking to water people that have been in the business for 40 years, talking to different scientists, different holistic functional doctors, and really figuring out different ways that I could come at this whole issue and make a super system. And that's what I wanted to build. I wanted to build the most amazing, beautiful system. So through this research, I literally had to kind of figure it out, make a system, filter the water, send it out, see what my test results were. And we're at version, I'd say 5 at this point for my under the sink system and my whole home system, because I kept innovating. And it's one of the things where I love, and you and I behind the scenes won't talk about it, but we're working on something together too. I always want to innovate. And that's where evolving comes into play. I'll always innovate no matter what it is, to the point where my supplier right now is saying, Mike, you pretty much have everything possible that you could put in a water filtration system almost maxed out. There's really almost nothing left that you could put in here. I said, cool, call me when something new comes out. Simple as that. I always want the best of the best for my clients because, again, water is life. It's our life source. It is sacred. And that's why I called it that for my company, sacred alkaline water because I wanted to purify the water, but then not just purify it. Let's bring the nutrients back in. Let's give it all the minerals it needs. Through that mineral process, you're going to create the proper pH balance and alkalinity. But then the structuring part of it, you have to put the hydrogen back and restructure it through the microclusters and the ionization process so that your body can actually absorb this water at a cellular level. So it's a super special process, but I uncovered a lot. I could talk about bottled water if you want as well, what I figured out about a lot of those.
Well, I want to start like there's a really good piece to that, right? We filter the shit out. We get all the bad stuff out. Like this is functional medicine, right? Functional medicine is let's detox the system and then let's prepare it so we can put in the good signals. So you're mineralizing the water back to it's carrying what it's supposed to, the things that are good for you. So you're remineralizing the water.
Yep.
You're in that process. So this is why I love ancient wisdom meets modern science. This is everything I do. Like my whole process is in this. And so you've taken this modern day science of, just like the food we eat, the water we drink is more toxic than it's ever been. We produce way more chemicals, or we're exposed to as many chemicals in a week or in a month, I can't remember the stat now, that our grandparents were exposed to in a lifetime. So our toxic burden and load is so much higher, which is why I feel we need to detox more. We need to make sure that we're using clinical supplementation, not because it's supplementation, it's literally food is medicine because our food isn't as nutritious, it's ultra processed, all these things. We need to add stuff back. So you're putting the mineralization in. And I love what you said, because I didn't get that before, is through that process, the pH changes to become alkaline.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me a little bit, because I think a lot of people have heard of alkaline water, but they don't really know about that.
Yeah. Super.
What it is, what it isn't. Like, we don't need to make claims and stuff like that, but you're talking language now that is like going beyond that in next gen, next level. I want to get to the structured part of that, but let's talk a little bit about alkaline, because we never talked about that on the show yet.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So natural spring water, before we even existed, had a natural alkalinity of like an 8.5, 8 to 9.5, basically. And when the water would come down through the Earth's hydrological cycle, filter through the Earth, those rocks and all the minerals, it was picking up the proper minerals, creating that elevated pH. That's the way to make true alkaline water. A lot of alkaline waters on the shelf nowadays are purified water with things like baking soda and chemical enhancements to create the alkalinity and the alkaline pH. It's not real alkaline water. Every single one, if you look on the back of the bottle, it is not. So that's why when you talked about the companies reaching out and wanting to bottle my water, I won't do it, because you can't bottle real alkaline water. It will lose the alkalinity and it'll dissipate into the air when you open the bottle, because bottled water, when it's on the shelf, by the time you purchase it, it's anywhere from 12 to 18 months plus old, sitting in plastic and absorbing that. So the mineral factor of this entire process, I'm using things like natural tourmaline from the earth, full of good minerals, to remineralize the water. And through that process, it naturally brings the pH up. That's just the way that a natural spring worked back in the day. Because of pollution, rainwater is full of microplastics and heavy metals now because of us. So what I'm able to do is mimic a natural spring in people's homes, but 10x it. Because now we're able to filter out all the other stuff. This water is cleaner than a natural spring, because you never know what's in a natural spring nowadays. You could have bacteria, dead bodies, tires dissolving. You never know what's going to be in there.
Yeah, well, and it's all because of us, which is what you said. Like, we got to be earth keepers here. Like, we got to figure out a way to reverse this. That is like gold nugget there. It's like, I make natural spring water for your home the way it was intended to be.
That's it.
Because the intended to be is exactly the ethos of why we do what we do now. Is we live in a toxic environment that's way different than back in the day. We have so much we've done to this planet, but from a perspective of our own bodies, you just said, like, I had to mimic what was because we need to figure that out. But you're doing it in a way that it's like, how do I make this what nature intended?
Yeah.
I love that. That's amazing.
But
Well, it's the merging of the modern day science with the ancient wisdom. Is mountain spring water was structured, it was beautiful, it was mineralized, it was alkaline, it was what our bodies were supposed to drink. We didn't drink the water from the lake that poisoned us. We didn't drink the ocean water. We drank the mountain spring water. It was clean, it was safe. And it's like, but we can't now. We can't go to the spring and do it because who knows what's there now, right? We poisoned our planet enough, but now we can move to this space of modern day technology. Is like, all right, well, let's recreate that in the best possible way. Yeah, you're right. Like, oh, it's artificially flavored or natural flavors, right? It's like naturally done with alkaline. It's like, yeah, baking soda is natural, so we're just gonna put that in there, right? I like that you're adding that because we do this in the supplement world. It's like, know how to read your label, know how to know if it's really good for you. Like if it just is filtered water in your bottled water that you're drinking, yeah, and the plastics are all getting in there. The microplastics are in everything. They're in our sperm counts. They're everywhere.
Yep.
So I do not drink out of, I've been almost plastic free as much as like I'm 95% plastic free in my life now because I drink out of things that are like glass and like really easy thing. Like this is just that's what I drink out of. I always bring my water bottle with me. I know it's stainless steel, but it's what I need. You know, it's either glass or stainless steel, so I don't have to absorb that stuff.
No, otherwise you will, because I tell people all the time, and this is a tagline I love: if you don't filter your water, you become the filter.
Yeah, well, and what does a filter do? It collects all the crap and accumulates it.
Mm-hmm.
And then if your gut is dysfunctional and it's leaky, you're going to reabsorb it instead of excrete it, and it's going to absorb all the heavy metals. And this is why we need a detox and yada, yada, yada. I love that you brought up the Environmental Working Group, the EWG, because it is such a good resource for people, and it's free, and you can learn a lot about stuff, and it's all unbiased. They have lots of studies and papers. Like I use it all the time. It's where the dirty dozen comes from for veggies. It's so good for people. So I'm glad that you brought that up.
Yep. It's a huge resource for me. And the best part, like you said, they're third party. Has nothing to do with my business. I just use it as education so that anyone in the entire US, doesn't matter where you are, you can research and find out these things and educate yourself on what's really going on in our food and water and how to be better, right? How do we create longevity for ourselves?
And that's what essentially the next grade of human is looking for right now. Like that's why I've been moving towards men's vitality, women's radiance, and longevity, because I love what you said, because it's the stuff we've been teaching forever. Is like we need to educate and empower ourselves. Nobody's going to do this for us, but there's guides along the way. I don't need to go down a 21-year rabbit hole of water because I know a guy named Michael, and I can go down the little rabbit hole and go, all right, I got you on the hormones. I got you on some longevity stuff. Like, but tell me more about, like, just do the water thing for me. Like, cause I want to drink mountain spring water. I already told you, I was like, you're next on my list to come and do this thing in Charlotte for me. So I want to get through your process, and my favorite part about water is it's the structure of water. When water takes on structure, when water takes on memory and frequency, because I dabble in the frequency medicines and a lot of these things, water holds information. That's why when you said, I want to make it so it goes down into the cellular molecular level, because that's what it's going to do. Talk to people about the structured part of water.
Yeah. So,
This is the nouveau part of water.
yeah. And again, this is just the way that nature intended it to be. It's not a fad. It's not a trend. I was doing hydrogen water and structured water 5 years ago before it was cool. So it's just the way that it needs to be. So what's happening with the water right now is that it's been overly processed. It's been around forever. We recycled it in different ways, back to the municipal, through filtration, chlorinated, all the stuff back into the house. So what we have today is what's called dead water. Okay. Dead water does absolutely nothing for you. And dead water is tap water, Brita water, filtered water, fridge water, doesn't matter. Anything with the tabletop filters, and especially bottled, it's all dead. What that means scientifically is that the water molecule is way too big for your body to absorb that water, which is why us as Americans are completely chronically dehydrated, which is causing a ton of other issues in our lives. So you ever drink a bunch of water, like from the fridge, out of a bottle, chug a bunch of water, and then you kind of dance around or jump around and you can feel it move around in your stomach?
Yeah. Well, you feel bloated, right? You thought you drank too much water.
Yeah. But it's literally like a swashy, watery, like you can feel like a water balloon. You can feel it and hear it move around in your stomach. That's not supposed to happen ever. What's happening is the water's too heavy and the water molecule is too big for your body to absorb the proper amount. So the average human, if you're drinking this dead water, you're really only going to absorb about 20% of that water. The rest of it, you're going to urinate out and you're always going to feel dehydrated and thirsty. So water's supposed to be light. It's supposed to be crisp. It's supposed to be just super pure and tasty and just amazing. When you drink it, it's supposed to start to absorb into your cheeks, your tongue, your throat before it even hits your stomach, right? Even as fast as that happens, you're still going to absorb it. So the hydrogen media and ionization process does a restructuring of the water molecule and it shrinks it into these tiny little microclusters. So it completely changed the structure of the water. These microclusters are what can actually penetrate and get into the cellular level to hydrate you at the proper level. Now, one of the things I like to show my clients when it comes to this, I always bring up the tea bag trick. So, and it's not a trick, it's a tea bag test. So, when you boil water, you heat water up. Well, scientifically, that actually shrinks the water molecule so that when you steep the tea bag, the water molecules can actually penetrate those tiny little holes and actually absorb at a cellular level through that bag, technically. That's my, I guess, version of showing you kind of a visual of what it's doing. With our water, my clients can go straight to their tap, take a tea bag, get a cold glass of water, completely just regular tap cold, and steep tea in about 15 to 20 seconds. And the reason they can do that is because of the restructuring of the water into these tiny little microclusters. It's able to get through the tea bag. It creates the foam and everything on top as if you used boiling hot water from the stove. And that's what it's able to do to your body for hydration. That's why I like to show that test for my clients and let them know what's really going on. And, structuring has so many different ways. The way you speak to water, like Dr. Emoto did all those tests on that. All these different ways for structuring it and then freezing it and looking at, the way it is, snowflakes, all kinds of different things. There's different ways of structuring it. But when it comes to our health, the way you infuse the hydrogen and you use the ionization process to create those microclusters, it's the best thing you could ever do for your water, because what it does is it brings it back to life. There's something called the oxidation reduction potential with water, the ORP, okay? And dead water has a positive ORP, meaning scientifically it's going to age you faster. And if we're constantly drinking this water that's dehydrating, it's not hydrating us, it's full of chemicals, full of microplastics, we're going to age quicker. And that has happened to a lot of Americans over the years. Well, this is where the whole, fountain of youth comes into play, because I would assume, just with all of my knowledge, that that fountain of youth that they talk about had a negative ORP of like negative 300 to negative 700, meaning it was just living spring water, right? That's what we're able to produce by giving it the reinvigoration of the hydrogen into the water and reinvigorating it and really shaking it up and bringing it back to life just like that. Goes through the filtration process, gets the minerals, gets the hydrogen. Boom, we're back to a living water.
I love how you made that analogy with because it makes with the tea bags, but also like reinvigorating the water, bringing it back to life, because it gives people everyone needs to hear like a visualization of that, right? We need to see it like, oh, my water's dead. It's not just, oh, I have osmotic filtration, right? But what you're saying is when you drink this kind of light, invigorated water, it literally is infusing like osmosis the way water should. It's just moving through the membranes. It's super light. It's super fast. It's super accessible, and the body recognizes it as something it needs, which is the way nature intended it. Like we get so complex in our world, and it took you a complex thing to get you to the place where we keep saying water in its simplest, most usable, beautiful form. Again, nature always wins, but now we're recreating that. So you're not only filtering it, getting out the bad stuff, you're remineralizing it, which is alkalining it, which is then getting it into its structured form. So when people say structured water, that's what you're saying, that's what they get.
That's what they're talking about. When you're restructuring the water molecule into smaller microclusters is essentially what it is. So it's a very important part of the process. I tell people all the time, without that, yes, it would be beautiful, clean, spring water with all the minerals in it. But in order for your body to properly absorb, you really need to have that extra hydrogen ionization process to restructure it to allow your body to absorb it. So percentage wise, I would say ours is probably closer to about an 80-85% absorption rate, just because I notice how much, and I talk to my clients all the time and almost do kind of testing with them with questions, right? Hey, how much more water are you drinking, or how often do you feel you have to drink water? Are you able to get your gallon of water in today because the water's lighter? It's hard for people to get a gallon of water in when your water's dead, full of chemicals, or if it's just straight purified, which is really harsh and acidic and very dead water. It's hard to get that water down. So very important part of the water aspect. And I did want to tap real quick while we were talking about this. Something that's demonized way too much nowadays is something called the TDS of water. Okay. Total dissolved substances or total dissolved solids. There's all these TikTok and Instagrams and Facebooks that are like, you shouldn't have any TDS in your water. It needs to be under 50. It needs to be under 20. So TDS just means total dissolved substances. So that could be good and bad. So it's a terrible way to test water unless you just want purified. That's the only reason a TDS meter is ever good. If you strictly want RODI for like cleaning cars, window cleaners, things like that, or reverse osmosis deionization, or if you just want pure water, reverse osmosis, like I said, it's like a 4 or 5 on the pH scale. It's super acidic, but it's literally just H2O after it goes through a reverse osmosis process. That's it. There's literally nothing left. Natural spring water, again, before we ruined it, if you can even look this up, had a TDS of 250 to 350. We land right in the 280 TDS because of how much minerals we're putting back in. All the good we're putting back in that water. TDS is not a bad thing. TDS, if you're testing it on your tap water per se, you're testing all the chemicals and all the minerals and anything else that could be in there. Plastics, whatever. That's what a TDS meter does. So I just wanted to say that on this show because I keep seeing way too many posts of, oh my God, that water's terrible. It has this TDS. It needs to be super low. Low TDS water without minerals is super harmful for us and our bodies. Because what will happen, and I have functional doctors that back me on this, when you drink purified, just straight reverse osmosis water, water is a solvent and water is attracted and needs minerals. It will find minerals.
Yeah.
It will latch onto them in
It's
your
polarized. It's a polar, we should know it's a polar molecule. It's looking to attract stuff.
It's crazy. And it'll latch onto them in your body and then shoop, you're going to urinate it out. So now you're becoming mineral deficient by drinking something you thought was good for you. So my entire intention of this is to shed some light on, hey, there's better ways to make decisions on this water thing. There's ways, and we can help, ways you can figure out stuff while you're traveling. Like that's the light I want to show for people today.
Oh, I love how you brought that up, because it's kind of like when somebody's looking to lose fat and they get on a scale. Scale is weight, it's not fat. So we have a body composition. We want to know that you're losing the right stuff and not the wrong stuff. And it's the same thing. It's like, yeah, you can put a little meter in here and it's just showing you what's in, like, it's non-specific enough where you can't infer. And you gave people a good light to that. So I'm glad that you brought, it's all about education, right? It's empowering people to understand, because if you just took that as face value, you'd think that person was an expert and they're like, there's so much stuff in here. Yeah, but what is it? Well, I don't know. Bad stuff. Well, how do you know? It's like, and I love, like, you gotta add the and is like, we want the mineralization in there. So I'm glad that you brought that reverse osmosis thing out. And I get to have a conversation with my wife today, because she drinks a ton of water. We have an RO system in our house because when we did our renovation and we were in wellness, this was 10 years ago. It's like, I want healthy water in my house. And the only person that came out was like, the guy's like, you will just put an RO system in your house. That was it. I was like, all right. I when I talked to you, I was like, no, that's not what I want now. Like, the intuition told me I needed something more. And then, of course, this is how it works. When you put it out there and you observe it, it's there. You put these systems in houses, you put them in
Businesses,
commercial places, you put them in businesses. As soon as we finish our renovation here, it's like the first thing we're going to do. We're going to actually have sacred, structured water in our store where people can just come, get it off the tap, and just like sit at the wellness bar. That was my vision. It's like coffee with benefits, water with benefits, and like fruits and greens with benefits. Like, that's it. That's all you get here. So I'm excited for that. But you put these in residential houses all over the country, right?
Yeah. So we have the ability to install anywhere in the nation. I have an install going in this week in Utah. I have another one going in this week in Rhode Island. It's about a 2-week lead time. If I do it out of state type thing, I just ship it directly to the area, and I have a network of installers in Texas that I work with, or I can work with a local plumber if need be. If there's a will, there's a way with me. I'll find a way to install it for clients. But yeah, we're in all kinds of different states across the nation. I am based in Florida, so that's where our company is based out of. But I've got tons of clients in California, Utah, Colorado Springs, you name it. We're all over the place.
And you do whole house systems and you do under sink systems, right?
Yes. Yeah. So for condos, I normally would recommend just an under the sink system to at least get clean drinking water. Now, there are times where we've gotten creative, and some of the higher end condos that have their own emergency shut off within the home, in the actual condo, I've installed the whole system in people's closets before because they really wanted to get the system, and I made a way to do it. So under the sink is the main one. Whole home would be if someone just wanted to do the whole home. The best package, because they do get a big discount, is combo of the two. So it's like a $2,000 discount if they combo the two together. So we always do the whole home system. So it remineralizes, purifies all the hydrogen water, living water through the whole house. But then they get the power pack is the one under the sink. So because it's going through another 6 stages of filtration, I know it sounds crazy, but I go just all over the place when it comes to this water. So I do the best of the best of the best for every aspect of it. So the under the sink system is an extra 6 stages of filtration plus extra 6 stages of remineralization. So the whole house is always a pH of 8 to 9. It's always alkaline. You can drink every single faucet in your home. When you take a bath, your bath is a mineral spa at this point. If you take a shower, same thing. Slowly as your pool fills up, as long as you're doing a salt treated pool, your pool is going to turn into an oasis, basically, where it's this beautiful mineral saltwater pool with what we're doing with our water. The under the sink system, I call it my power pack because it has a higher pH and extra hydrogen. So the one under the sink is going to be a 9.5 pH all the time. The extra hydrogen is put in there as well. So you're getting extra minerals, extra hydrogen right there at the source. So I tend to drink out of my power pack, which is the under the sink system. But again, I can drink out of every single faucet in my house. If I go to do an event, it's still alkaline and it's still hydrogen water structured, I'm going to get a 5-gallon jug and bring that to the event so I can share water with people. So we have multiple ways of doing it, but obviously the best choice is to do the combo of the two.
Now I got the curious thing going, right? Like if you're pouring it, because this is why we don't bottle it, because it's not going to stay that way. So how long do you need to consume the water that's coming? Because it's all coming through. It's like the way I envision it, it's like coming doing the mountain, right? It's doing all this thing, and then it's getting to you, and then you consume it, right? In a reasonable amount of time. Have you really figured out that like sweet spot of shelf life on that?
I have. That's a really good question. So when we did lab testing, because I try to do it every 2 years, when we did lab testing, they sit the water in the glass bottle that we have to send it in, the vial, for 2 weeks. So they let it sit for 2 weeks before they do testing because they want to see how strong the alkalinity holds. And when we sent it, we blew them away because we were still sitting at a 9.2 after 2 weeks. A lot of the other waters that I was testing against, I don't know brand names. I just was told I was testing against other brands. They were in the mid 7s after 2 weeks. So we have a very strong alkalinity. And again, I believe it truly is from the medias and the true minerals that we're using. We're not falsifying it with chemicals. We're using real minerals to remineralize the water. So say once you get set up at the pharmacy, people come and they fill up a 5-gallon jug. I'd probably drink that at least within the first 5 days, which is a gallon a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Try and drink it. Don't come and fill up 20 gallons at a time and let it sit. It's really one of those things where it's freshest straight from the source. Think of standing in front of a spring and drinking straight from the spring, or bottling it in a glass bottle and bringing it home, which is going to taste better. Straight from the source is going to taste better. So we give you straight from the source from the tap.
I love that. It's awesome. If people are interested in learning more, or like, oh my gosh, I need to get one of these. Like, you got a website. What's the best way to get people to I want people to take action in this podcast. Like, and we'll get to some other things, because we're working on some really cool things too. Because like, what's the other question? What if I'm traveling? I can't bring my water with me. Like we're solving some of these problems, right? Because yeah, well, how do you do this whole complex 10-year system and go, how would I travel with that? What's the best solution, right? Like you said, good, better, best. You can drink it in your house, but if you go in the power pack, you're just getting a little extra. Right? You're just doing the thing. I'm totally, I love that you have a lab, because we're on the journey, brother. Like, we're gonna figure some stuff out, because I want to start infusing frequency in water.
Yeah.
And in my compounds, which contain water, right? If it's a cream, I can infuse frequency in that, and the frequency is information, and information can be healing. Right. So now we're moving it, because there's models that do that now with frequency and water, but like, we can level this thing up. Like, I love next gen, next level wellness and next gen, next level compounding. So this fits the mold. But so where do people go? What's your website?
So website is sacredalkalinewater.com. So SACREDALKALINE water.com. The business phone line, if you want to shoot us a text or call, is 772-321-0660. Give us a call, shoot us a text. And then my email is MIKEY at sacredalkalinewater.com. Anyone on this podcast watching this, doesn't matter when you watch it, if you do come across our company here, we're doing a $500 off the system for you as a gift. And you have to mention Beyond the Pills podcast, and Josh, obviously, will take care of you. Again, we can do any state in the nation. We can do a video phone call. So usually what I do is I actually do consultations over the phone with people. So I can really kind of get down and dirty with what's really going on with the water, answer all their questions and concerns, and then I can get paperwork done and ship it up to them wherever they are in the US.
And then you have installers everywhere that know how to do this the right way, and they can move it forward. That's such a great system too. Yes. If you're interested, mention Beyond the Pills. I asked you to give people an offer, so you did. Like, we want to make sure people are doing the right thing at the right time. And when we're getting to the simplicity of wellness, because that's what I'm launching Wellness Made Simple. Like, we need to make things more simple. I'm a big fan of that 80-20 rule that you were talking about. Mm-hmm. But like, if you got to get to the root cause, why not get the first thing done first, which is your water? Yes, it's an investment. This is not a simple filter system. This is complex, but it's necessary, especially as we move towards this vibrant health, this things we need to do. Like, why not invest in your water, right? Invest in that, and all these other things can happen. Have you seen what kind of testimony? We don't have studies yet, but I would love to start working on these cohorts. Like, these people drink this water, these people don't. We see these things happen. That would be fun. And yeah, these are like the little scientists in me going. But have you seen what's the feed? I don't call it a testimonial. What's the feedback you're getting when you put a system in a community or a house or a anything? Like, this is such a good need and such a niche way to do it. But I'm just curious, like, you've been doing this a while, you're super busy. It took, and so I know you're doing this a lot. So what's the feedback you're getting once you put somebody? Do they feel better? Like,
it's wild, Josh. My favorite part.
We're not making claims here, people. I just want to know, like, I want to know real world stuff. Michael's, you're in there. Well, I don't know. Let's say a month later, I'm sure you're gonna, like, I love the text message that says, "You wouldn't believe," right?
Yep.
Give a few of those, because I love, this is entertainment, right? This is in a good way.
It's awesome too, because it's my favorite part. Because in my sales process, me or my reps, whoever sold the system, about 5 to 7 days after the system is installed, if it's local, and as we have teams everywhere, we'll do the same exact thing. We always go back to check in on the client and see how we get to see them for about a 30-minute appointment, see what's going on, how they're loving it. And some of the most immediate things people notice are better natural energy in the morning, because instead of going to a cup of coffee, we should really be drinking about 32 ounces of water first thing in the morning, but we don't. And even if you are, it's probably not the right water. So better natural energy, better mental clarity and focus. If your body is hydrated, your brain can get hydrated better. Your brain's 75% water, but what are you feeding it? So mental clarity and focus is a huge part. And then on top of that, people tend to sleep better because your body's hydrated, and it can just naturally wind down, do what it needs to do, and function better to get some really good deep sleep if you are drinking the water enough to be able to do so. But I mean, that's just the 3 that most people notice. I go back to people's houses and they're glowing. Literally, I feel like their entire skin has changed. Their hair looks different. So some of the things, and again, this is not health claims. These are feedback from clients. I've had clients that have had skin issues completely disappear within the first 2 weeks of having the system. really bad skin issues, like eczema, gone, 2 weeks, never came back. I've had people with, I forget the name for it, but it's some kind of a bump that usually females get on the back of their arms during pregnancy. They call them like pregnancy bumps. I didn't even know a couple of my clients had them after they had their young child. And they called me 2 months later and said, "Hey, Mike, I just want to let you know this happened. And the only thing we changed was our water." I've had people with ulcers go away or become better, right? I've seen dogs go from super lethargic from drinking toxic tap water to natural puppy energy again at 10 years old, to where literally once they felt better and they had better water and better hydration, they were feeling better. So the dog's energy comes back. And I mean, the list goes on and on and on. One of the next things we're working on as a company, we're going to be getting video testimonials to put on our website. So keep an eye out for that too, because we will be filming that and putting a lot of this on our website. I mean, if you think about it, water's life. It's the number one thing we need to live. So if you treat your water properly and you actually have the water as nature intended it to be for our optimum well-being and health, there's going to be a lot of changes in your life. The way your body functions, the way your gut is, the way you feel, the way you just get up every day. A lot of things change by just changing your water because it's your life source. And without a good source of water, which until I came along and made this beautiful thing, there's really not a whole lot out there. There's really not. And I hope that more companies wake up and try to be better so that millions and millions of people are getting this kind of water.
Well, that's the closing wisdom here, right? It's like we take something like water for granted because it's accessible to us all the time. And we only think if it's poisonous if if it comes out of the tap and it's brown, which has happened to me a few times. So it's kind of one of those things, but we have evolved. You created you found a solution to a problem that people didn't know they existed because this is a big thing for me right now, is like we've subscribed, we've got these terms and conditions that we sort of check off unknowingly in our health, but we assume the sick care model is what's going to become health. You said a lot of words that resonate with me, and our mission is optimal health. You've been in functional health a long time like me. Is optimal health is very different than not sick. But we've taken not sick, tap water, filtered water, whatever water, we've taken that as meaning healthy, as vibrant, and yeah, it makes sense. Like, you didn't make any claims, but when you take something that's so necessary for every chemical reaction, every living thing in the entire planet, or water-based beings, and you put it into the way that nature intended and that we can absorb in the way that we can, that, my friend, is optimizing health from the very, very part of root cause. Because you're taking out a lot of stuff and you're putting in a lot of good stuff.
Yep.
And it's doing something you're going to do anyway all day long. Hopefully.
Well, I hope so. Hopefully after this episode, if you aren't drinking water, because I get a lot of people that tell me all the time they get their water from their beer or their tequila. We got to fix that.
I give people body comps and it shows intracellular, extracellular water and like that stuff. And I was like, alcohol and caffeine don't count. Like everything else, just there's water in fruit, there's water in vegetables, there's water in water, but those don't count. They do not count. Like beer, wine, there's water in it, but it does not count. It's actually dehydrating. They know it. And it's like, no. What's one thing people can do today until they can get to the place where we can either create it and put it in their homes or do something where we can do additives to things? But like, what's one thing people can do today to move them in the right step with their water intake, their water that they're drinking?
Couple things. So number one, give us a call. Under the sink system is super doable for most houses to at least get you good drinking water. Okay. So that's something we can do. No problem. If you want the whole house, we'd love to help you with that too. Now, if our company isn't involved in any of it, what I always recommend is if you have to get purified water. Unfortunately, it's super acidic and it's lacking on the minerals, but maybe get like a trace mineral drops because they've got those brands that you can put some trace minerals back in to help with it. But you don't want to do it long term. So what I'm also trying to do is work with more health and wellness spas, kind of like the pharmacy. Yours is on steroids compared to some of these other places, but places like yours, if anyone watching knows health and wellness spas that I can work with for them to get this installed as a business, so then you could go buy the good water from them. We do that all the time here in Florida. I'm installing another one next week, about an hour from me. So we're plopping these around all around town. Or if I'm not available and that's not available, find a good water store and ask questions. And if you have questions that you're not sure what to ask, or you want to reach out to me, call me directly. I can help out. I'm a wealth of knowledge. I've done this for a long time through true blood, sweat, and a lot of tears. And I actually care. My true passion is for people and for that optimum health and wellness. The pain I had to go through with watching my father pass 4 or 5 years ago and my mom just pass, we got to figure out this whole cancer thing. And I'm not making claims on anything, but water and health are directly correlated. So we need to take care of our water before we do anything else. And the spas and health and wellness spas that I work with, they tell their clients all the time, these detoxing, this, that supplement, this vitamin, other supplements, those are phenomenal. But if your water sucks, a lot's not going to change in your health. So you start with the number one thing that makes you live and breathe.
Boom. Well, the purpose and passion and mission is super evident with you, my friend. Like but that's who I love working with, right? Like that's us. Like we're here to deprescribe unnecessary medications, 10 million. The way we do that is to make it unnecessary. How do you make it unnecessary? You heal the body. So this is ways to do it. Yeah, why not? There's 20,000 independent community pharmacies in this country. Why couldn't we put one of these in every pharmacy in America? Not the chains. They don't give a crap about you. But every independent community pharmacy where you can go get your prescription and get your wellness water while you're there. Correct. Like, how cool would that be? You'd be solving big, 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 big problems with people.
Yes, sir.
We got work to do, my friend. We got to expand.
I'm ready.
This was awesome. This was such a good episode, right on time. And as people are thinking, this is dropping, we're thinking about our health and wellness for the next year. Like, this is such a perfect thing. Go check him out. sacredalkalinewater.com. Give him a call. He's a super giver, right? You're giving this information out so people can be informed. And yes, it's at the very minimum, get an under counter unit and get started, right?
Yeah. And they can reach out through our Instagram as well at sacred_alkaline_water. Facebook as well, if they want to reach out through social media.
Cool.
If they don't want to do direct phone or email or whatever, they can always reach out directly through there as well.
No, perfect. Amazing. This was awesome. Thank you so much for all your service, for what you're doing. We've both been affected in our own ways with cancer. And so we're ready to go. We're going to work on these things. And I can't wait to work with you more. It's going to be fun.
Let's go, bro. I'm pumped.
All right. That's a wrap, everyone. Until next time, stay well. Thanks for joining me today on Beyond the Pills. If our mission to deprescribe 10 million unnecessary medications resonates with you, share this episode, subscribe, and leave a review. Whether you're a practitioner or someone ready to reclaim your health, visit rx2wellness.com for free resources to begin your journey. Together, let's go beyond the pills and co-create a world of vibrant health and true healing. Until next time, live better and stay well.